This
So,
conference will now be recorded.
okay. Uh, I have been working in SAP for around 14 years, and I have been working on S4HANA for around 5 years. Currently, I am working in EY, and I'm working on various SAP S4HANA projects. So, yeah, Hardik, you can give a brief background about yourself, your experience, so that, I mean, based on your experience, I mean, based on what you know, we can further decide how do we proceed with the course.
Sure,
Right?
sounds
Probably
good.
if you know something, if you already know something on S4HANA, or if you know something in SAP, then we can also skip some of the topics and focus on what is actually required.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Sandesh, I'm based in Toronto. I'm working in a
Hmm.
manufacturing food manufacturing company. We
Okay.
already have implemented S4, I guess almost 2 years back.
Hmm.
I am trying to get into. I don't have much SAP experience other than I have used it. I'll say I'm a user,
Hmm.
but not. I would not consider myself as a technical person. Okay,
Okay.
so I have experience. I have business process knowledge, yes, but
Hmm.
no, I'll say zero SAP experience. That's it.
Okay.
Let's
I
put it
mean,
that
when
way.
you say you have SAP process knowledge, you mean to say
Yes.
you basically you know all the navigations, right? I mean, you know how to create an process order, how to confirm it, how to run MRP, and you also know how to use Fiori apps. Am I right? I mean, that is what you already know, or I mean, what do you
I'll say
know?
I'll say partially. I'll say partial. I'll say I won't know all of those, but
Mhm.
I know the business processes. So
Okay.
SAP side, I'll say experience is zero, but business
Okay.
process wise, I know some because I'm working
Uh-huh.
in. We're using a different system, pretty much.
Okay, fine, fine. That's
Yeah.
good, Hardik. I mean, if you know business process, I think half of the job is done, right? I mean, see, one thing
Yeah.
is you should know I mean, what is manufacturing. So, I mean, the other part is to map it into the system, right? I mean, whatever you
Yeah.
know, whatever you do on day-to-day basis, how do you map it
Mhm.
into a system and make system work? That is the second part. So, I think you already know, you're already halfway through because you are working in manufacturing and you know the business process, right? So,
Mhm. Yeah.
what we can focus on, right? I mean, since you already know the process, we will not
Mhm.
spend too much of time into understanding what is manufacturing, what is discrete manufacturing, how does manufacturing work, right? So we
Yeah.
can directly just touch upon these topics briefly. I mean,
Mhm.
because these are things which you already know. Probably you may know it better than me because I have never worked in manufacturing, right?
Mhm.
I was a graduate hire, and then I was directly put into SAP projects. I was into Accenture. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I was into consulting from day one. I started my career. So I mean,
Yeah.
business-wise, I'm pretty sure you know much more than me. But yeah,
Mhm.
what I can help you with is a system, right? What you do in your business process, how do you put it into system? This is something which
Mhm.
I can help you with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
So
good. And anytime if I need more explanation, I'll ask you around. So
yeah, yeah,
that should work out, I guess.
definitely, Hardik. Yeah, no
Yeah.
issues. So basically, uh, I mean, have you worked on SAP ECC before S4HANA?
No.
Uh,
No.
you haven't. Okay. So basically, S4HANA is a new version of ERP, right?
Mhm.
SAP had several versions of ERPs. So ERP is an enterprise resource product, right?
Mhm.
So it's a software which integrates various functions of business. For example,
Mhm.
uh, whenever you produce something, it will have an impact on finance. It will have impact on costing. It will have impact on inventory. And also, to produce something, you need to plan for the production, right? So you require
Mhm.
an supply chain manager who will actually forecast the demand, and then he will plan for the products, right? So it's
Mhm.
an integrated product. So ERP integrates various. It will integrate finance. It will integrate procurement. It will integrate supply chain management. It will integrate SRM, supplier relationship management, HR. So so instead of having separate software for each of these functions, what SAP did was it created a single software package which has integrated all the process end to end. So starting from procurement uh, to the delivery to the customer, right? It has integrated everything, and it has also integrated finance. It has integrated supplier relationship management. It has integrated planning. Um, there are many modules. It has integrated environmental health and safety. It has integrated quality management, plant maintenance, and because each of these modules have an impact on other modules, right? I mean, suppose you are doing plant maintenance and you want to procure spare parts, so you are dealing with procurement part of your company, right? So how all this integration and all this information flow, they have managed to create a single software for this, and this is known as ERP. And SAP is into this business from 1980s, right? It's almost 30 years since they invented this product, and they had various versions of this product, right? Initially, they had two-tier architecture, wherein you had a server and then you have an application and presentation layer. It was the typical client and server model which they had. Then they had something called three-tier architecture, wherein you have a server, you have an application layer, then you have an presentation layer, right? So a server will basically have the database. Database could be anything. It could be Oracle, it could be Sybase, it could be anything. And then you have an application layer, which will actually run your application. And then you have the presentation layer, wherein you do the transactions. For example, in your company you will be doing probably you may be booking the production, right? You may be confirming the production. So whatever you do in your screen, that will be the presentation layer, right? So it actually segregated this architecture into three-tier architecture, and now in the latest version they are moving into cloud. So how does cloud work? You have an central server. The server could be anywhere. It could be hosted in any of the Amazon facilities or in any of the Microsoft Azure facilities, or it could be in any of the Google Cloud facilities, right? So you only use your browser to log in into the remote server, which is on the cloud, and then you execute your transactions. So this is the latest architecture, and for all the S4 HANA ERP, the database will be HANA database. Previously, SAP was using Oracle, it was using Sybase, it was using SQL, so it did not have its own database. In S4 HANA, the database will be HANA. So HANA is a proprietary database of SAP. They invented it by themselves. They had put in a lot of innovation for this database, and all the S4 instances will be using HANA as a database, right? I mean, this is the technical overview. I mean, we will get into details once we actually start with the classes, right? So I just wanted to explain you what is SAP and what is S4 HANA actually. So S4 HANA is currently the latest product by SAP, right? And it is an very up-to-date ERP. It is having many innovative functionalities like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation. You can also directly interface this ERP with external MES systems, right? So yeah, so this is what you need to understand when you say S4HANA. It's an ERP, but it's an latest version of ERP by SAP. There are several versions of ERP by SAP, and S4HANA is the latest version of ERP by SAP, right? So, what are the topics we will be covering in this course, right? So, first thing, whenever you want to run a production cycle in SAP, you need to have certain master data, right? I mean, I mean, since you are in production, you can tell me what could be the master data for production, right? What are the uh, data required when you want to execute a production cycle?
I guess the first thing we'll need the material master.
Yes.
We'll need a bill of material.
Yeah.
We'll need. So we are using production orders. So we are using port centers
Yes.
and routings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as you said, yeah, essentially these are our master data, right? So these are the fields, or this is the information which we require. So basically, you will be booking a production for an finished product or an semi-finished product, right?
Mhm.
And each of the
Yes.
finished products will have components, and finished products and its components all together is known as bill of materials, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then where you manufacture this is known as your production line, and it
Mhm.
is also known as work center in discrete manufacturing, right? And
Yeah.
then you have routings. Routings and master SAP are essentially the same thing. If you
Mhm.
are using discrete manufacturing, you call it routing, and if you are using process manufacturing, you call it master SAP, right?
Mhm.
And then if you are using repetitive manufacturing, you call it rate routing. And then for a single material, you could have various combinations of routing and bill of material, right? So
Mhm.
probably for the same material, you may manufacture it on a different production line, right?
Yes.
Uh, but still the bomb might still be the same, or you may use slightly different composition for manufacturing same material. So these combinations are maintained in production version, right?
Yeah.
Each of these combination is known as a production version. And we will see what are these master data and how it is created in the system. Since you already understand what is the master data,
Yeah.
what you need to know is how will you create this in the SAP system, right?
Yeah.
And how will you make use of this master data?
Mhm.
And then for any
Sandeep,
production,
just
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. You're sharing your screen?
yeah, I'm sharing. Sorry, I think give me a
I
second.
did not actually. Yeah.
Okay, but I think I don't have an option to share it as of now.
I made you
Uh,
presenter basically.
Give me a second. Let me. But I don't see any button to share.
One
Uh,
second. You will get a pop-up when I'm sharing it. One second.
it is showing
Can
half.
you check now? You got any pop-up?
Yeah, I got it. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought I was sharing it. I did not realize I was not sharing.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, and then Hardik, uh, have you worked on planning? Uh,
No, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
okay, so basically, for you to execute production, I mean,
Mhm.
on what basis do you execute production? From where do you get the demand? I mean, suppose you are manufacturing 1,000 eaches of some food product, right? I
Yep.
mean, I was working in Unilever. So
Mhm.
for in Unilever, I mean, we manufacture soap, and we manufacture Marmite, or we manufacture some of the food products, right?
Mhm.
So for me, what will be the demand? Suppose I need to manufacture uh, 1 million eaches of some product in a day.
Mhm. Mhm.
On what basis will I manufacture it, or on
So,
what basis will I decide to manufacture it?
we our production plan is based on our forecasts,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and based on the forecast, we do the production planning.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
basically, the forecasting is your demand, right? So you forecast the demand for your product, right?
Mhm.
And based on that demand, you manufacture it, right? So that demand
Yeah.
is known as sales and operations planning. So what are
Mhm.
all the components you consider for the demand? I mean, you may consider various seasonal factors. Suppose you are manufacturing ice cream, right? So the demand
Mhm.
for ice creams will be high during summer, and it will almost be nil during winters, right? So you have
Yeah.
seasonal trend, or then you can have a moving average trend, right? So you can see over past 5 years what was the demand for my product, and then based on these
Mhm.
numbers you can predict your demand for next 5 years. So and then you have various forecasting models, we will get into it, and based on these
Mhm.
forecasting models you will generate demand for each of your product. Okay, now that you have the demand, okay, now that you say, for example, you say I need to, I mean, can you name one of your product? I mean, it will be easier for you to correlate. I
Oh,
mean,
we are
you may
making
not give the brand name if you are not comfortable, but just some product, you know.
yeah, no problem. We make naan, right? Naan
Sorry,
bread. Naan,
I didn't get you, Harry.
like naan bread, naan, like
Bread.
roti, yeah, roti naan. Yeah, naan.
Okay, bread. Okay, fine. So, okay, for example, you're making 10,000 packets of bread, right? So
Mhm.
now that you know you need to make 10,000 packets of bread, what will you do next? What will be your next step?
Yeah, to acquire my materials. So I need to do the material planning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that will be coming under material requirement planning. So within
Mhm.
SAP, you have various tools for material requirement planning, right? So based on the demand, you run material requirement planning, and output of material requirements planning will either be an procurement order or an purchase order, or it will be an production order, right? So what will
Yeah.
MRP do? It will check what are your material shortages, and for this
Mhm.
shortage of materials, it will create an procurement purchase order, or if it is an internally manufactured material, it will create an production order. So
Mhm.
MRP basically makes sure you will have all the required raw materials in stock before you start with the production.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then you have something called demand driven replenishment, right? So this is a relatively new concept, right? So what MRP does, it is exactly opposite of what MRP does. I can hear some music in the background, so I'm not sure who
That's
is it.
not me. No, that's not me
uh,
actually.
I'm going
okay,
to, sorry.
okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, so this demand driven replenishment, this is very much S4HANA, right? This is
Mhm.
not available in any of the previous versions of SAP ERP, right?
Mhm.
Here what you do is, instead of planning for the materials during MRP and then procuring it, you maintain buffers for the material. So what you do, you analyze all your stock, all your demand for the raw materials over a fixed period of time, and based
Mhm.
on your analysis, you will decide, I will maintain a buffer for this product because this product uh, will always be consumed very quickly, and
Mhm.
I have some lead time for my supplier to supply this product to me, and to manage the demand in this lead time, I will maintain certain buffer, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is known as demand driven replenishment, and it
Mhm.
basically provides you what should be the buffer during the
Mhm.
lead time which your supplier takes to supply the products to you, right? Suppose
Mhm.
your supplier is taking 2 weeks to supply some products to you. What should be your buffer stock for these 2 weeks? Those numbers will be given in demand driven replenishment,
Yeah.
right?
Got it.
And then you have production planning and detailed scheduling. So it's not only about planning for the materials, right? You also need to
Mhm.
plan when you should start your production, what should be the start date, and what should be the end date of your production, right? And how will you plan
Yeah.
this? This you will plan based on the capacity of your work center, right? So
Yeah.
suppose your production line, I mean, maybe you're manufacturing 10 kinds of bread, right? And all these 10
Yeah.
kinds of bread will be manufactured on a single production line. Suppose, I mean, you have two production lines. How will you decide which bread should be manufactured first, right? And which production line is free to produce my bread, right? To cater to my demand. This
Mhm.
detailed scheduling, right? When should I actually produce? On which production line should I produce this? So this will be taken care by production planning and detailed scheduling. Again, this is a
Mhm.
very a new feature in SAP S4HANA. Previously, it was being done in an different system called APO, right?
Mhm.
Now, this feature is available within SAP S4HANA, right? And then you have discrete manufacturing or shop floor control. So when you have everything in place, when you have the required materials, raw materials you want to produce in place, when you have your production line ready, what is it that you do next? You actually execute the production, right? You start with the
Yeah.
production, you release the production order or you release the process order, and then you do partial confirmation as and when you confirm the goods receipt of the finished product, you will do the confirmation, right? That is known as shop floor control, right? In shop floor control you will actually do the goods issue. Goods issue is the issuing of the raw materials to the production order, and then you will do the goods receipt, right? Once you manufacture the production order, you will do an goods receipt into the production shop floor location, right? So this is known as shop floor control. And then you also need to do capacity requirement planning. This is basically done to evaluate capacity of the production line, right? Based on the capacity of the production line, you can schedule your orders. And once you manufacture everything, you need to know what is the cost of your production, right? What is the cost to manufacture maybe 10,000 breads in, and based on this cost you will decide what should be the final price of your material, right? Suppose you the cost to manufacture bread is I would say maybe $10 for a pack, then you would decide your selling price should be $15 so that you have to maintain your profit and also distributor commission, whatever it is, right? So then you have product cost controlling, which will actually give you the actual cost that has been incurred during the production process, right? So this is an end-to-end process flow in production planning. So basically we will start with the master data, then we will start with the demand planning, and then we will do the material requirements planning, and then we will also maintain the buffer for our raw materials to manage the lead times, to manage the stock during the lead time the supplier takes to supply our raw materials. Then we will actually execute the production. We will also do the capacity planning of the production lines, and then we will also do the costing of our products, right? And how you do this in the system is something what I will be telling you in the course of the and in the future course, right? Okay, and okay, so going by your experience, see, we have three types of manufacturing in SAP, right? We have discrete manufacturing, we have process manufacturing, and then we have repetitive manufacturing. So usually when usually we take discrete manufacturing because that is where most of the people would be interested, right? If you want process manufacturing, I can uh, take this course from the process manufacturing point of view, right? It's up to you what you want to learn. I mean, what is it you're using right now in your
I
company?
believe we are using discrete manufacturing process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically they're similar, Hardik. I mean, the only thing is the name of the master data changes. For example,
Yeah, I guess it's
in discrete
PPPA, right? So
manufacturing,
it would
yes,
be works, it would be resources
work
versus,
center.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, work
yeah,
centers, right?
exactly. Work
Yeah.
centers. Yeah. So it will
Yeah.
be work centers and it will be routing. But in a process, we will, for work center, we will call it as resource, and for routing, we will call it as master recipe. So this is the only difference, right? And in process industry, you call it as process order. Here you call it as production order, right? So, but yeah, I mean, there are few additional features in process industries. For example, basically in usually, right, it is made use of in pharmaceutical industries, right? In pharmaceutical industries, you will have something known as API management. So based on the potency of this active pharmaceutical ingredient, the components, the quantity of the components consumed will differ, right? So for this, we have something known as material quantity calculations. So again, and then you have PI sheets, right? This is something which is additional to what you have in discrete manufacturing. But yes, I mean, for you, I mean, again, it depends on your interest, because within discrete manufacturing itself, we have many things, right? So
Yeah.
now that variant configuration, that will be part of discrete manufacturing. But again, these
Yeah.
are all topics which is, again, which might require some additional. It's a module by itself, right? So
Okay.
when you see in an SAP industry, uh, mostly planning and execution part will be dealt by one person, and then the variant configuration, the coding part of variant configuration will be dealt by variant configuration team. The PI sheet part, or the MES, manufacturing execution systems, right? They
Mhm.
are dealt by a different team. So because each of these are vast topics by itself, right?
Mhm.
So we would mainly focus on these things, because since you're very new to the system, I would say you need to understand and practice these concepts first. Then, if you are interested, we can see and decide on advanced topics, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
And let's see. I mean, what is the basic discrete manufacturing flow? I think you know this already, right? So you
Yeah.
create an production order, then you schedule the production order. So basically,
Mhm.
you put in the start date and end date, expected start date, expected end date of the production order. Then you will do the
Mhm.
availability checks for the material and capacity, right? So you
Mhm.
will check for
Yeah.
the material component availability. You will check for the capacity availability of the work center. And then once everything is in place, you will release the production order. And
Yeah.
then once you release it, if required, you will print the production order and send it to the shop floor person, right? And based on this,
Mhm.
he will withdraw the material from the store, raw material storage location, right? And
Mhm.
once he withdraw the materials, and he will consume these materials, he will produce the finished product. He will do an goods receipt, right? Once you
Yeah.
finish manufacturing the finished product, you will do
Yeah.
an goods receipt. And once you confirm the production order, you will do an order settlement, right? When you say settlement, you're settling the cost. You will system will actually calculate what will be the total cost to manufacture this product, right?
Mhm.
And then you will
Yeah.
technically complete this production order. So this
Yeah.
is the basic, very basic and lean process flow. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, based on your requirement, based on the business requirement, there could be some additional steps here, or you can also skip many of these steps here. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is uh, the standard flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Good.
that's it for today, Patrick. I mean, I mean, basically today I just wanted to understand your background, what you already know, so that
Mhm.
we can decide our course based on your inputs, right? Basically,
Yeah.
see, we also have students who already know SAP, right? They will know
Yeah.
SAP ECC. They just want to learn what is available in S4HANA. So for them,
Mhm.
I need not even touch upon master data or sales and operation planning, because only
Yes.
these parts are new. Only these three parts are new in S4HANA, right?
Yeah.
And for a few, they have no background at all. I mean, they don't know business, they don't know system, so
Yeah.
they are just out of college and they want to learn something. So for them, it
Mhm.
makes sense to explain business, what is manufacturing, what is an factory, how is it
Yeah.
structured, right? So yeah. So again, it depends. But yeah, since you already know business, and
Mhm.
since you already have an implemented SAP system,
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend you to focus most of your time and energy into
Mhm.
understanding the system itself, the SAP system, how
Yes.
master data is maintained, how will you do sales and operation planning, how will you do the
Mhm.
configuration, how will you
Yeah.
run MRP, what are the how do you analyze the output of MRPs, right? This is
Mhm.
something which I think you should focus on, because you need not waste your time into understanding what is manufacturing, which you already know, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we can directly jump into system and
Yeah.
start with that. So for this, we need to have system access. So this, I
Mhm.
think Sai will guide you further.
Yeah.
Like how do you get the system access? And once, and I am working from Kuala Lumpur. I am based out of Kuala Lumpur, Hardik. So
Oh,
I
okay.
think we
Yeah.
are working in from two corners of the world. So
Yes.
basically, I am free during morning times because my work starts around 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So from morning 9 a.m. Kuala Lumpur time to 11 a.m. Kuala Lumpur time, I am available.
Mhm.
Right. So this is,
Yeah.
and over weekends, I am flexible. I mean,
Yeah.
you can decide. I mean, if you want to have classes over weekends, then I am
Mhm.
flexible. And on weekdays, this is my timings. So yeah, you can decide when you want to take it up.
Okay. So you're it's 11 a.m. for you right now,
Yeah,
right?
it's 11 a.m. for me exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so we are complete 12-hour opposite.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
That's fine. That's fine. We will. I think with timing wise, we will figure something out. The good part is it's complete opposite time, so it's gonna work out pretty well.
Yes,
I'm
exactly. Yeah.
available in almost evenings. I'm available, and again weekends I'm available too. So I don't think
Uh,
timing
okay.
would be a
Yeah,
problem.
that's good. I mean, if you're available during evenings, because see, my work usually starts around 11 a.m. because I work mostly on European projects, right? So
Mhm.
my evenings and afternoons will be full. So
Yeah,
morning is usually the time I prefer for doing some additional activities. So yeah,
no,
one
that's
hour in
perfect.
the morning should be good enough. And usually
Yeah.
it will take around 45 hours to complete this, right? So
Mhm.
I would say, I mean, if you take 1 hour every day, it will take 45 days. Uh, and it also depends on the speed which you want to go, right? I mean, if you want to take go slow, then we can also go slow. It's not an issue for me. I
Yeah.
don't want to
Sounds good.
hurry or do something like this, but usually we can complete these things within 45 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I have like a little bit few more questions regarding
Okay.
so you already talked about like rough number of hours that it will that we need to put in. System
Mm-hmm.
access, yes, we will. I'll work with site to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the like books and any materials?
Yeah, I will give you all those materials, Hardik. So I can
Okay,
give
great.
you, see, basically, uh, uh, you can, so I have all the books. I have SAP Press books. Uh, but
Mhm,
this mainly this is related to SAP ECC. And
mhm.
for additional topics which is specific to S4HANA, I will give you presentations.
Okay, all right. Sounds
Right?
good.
See, basically, SAP ECC and S4HANA, it's same. I mean, when you see it from the system point of view, it is same. But S4HANA is having certain additional features which is not available in ECC. For example,
Yeah.
demand-driven replenishment is not available in ECC. Production
Mhm.
planning and data scheduling is not available in ECC, right? So
Yeah.
wherever I have SAP Press books for all these things, I mean
Yeah.
that I can give you. That is the best source for your learning, right?
Okay.
And over and
Yeah.
above that, I can also provide you the presentations for production planning and detailed scheduling, discrete, and I mean for the things which is specific to what do you say?
S4. Yeah, S4.
Yes, yeah, I will give you separate presentations, and
Yeah.
also I can give you materials. Whatever I have, I will share it with you. Don't worry about that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Sounds good. And I believe once we are done with the course, I would be would I be okay to appear for certification, or do I still need to go through some other courses to go for
And
certification?
okay, if you want to give certification, then
Mhm.
we can follow the certification part itself, right?
Okay.
So what I can do is, uh,
Mhm.
see, I mean, I have access to certification materials, but I cannot
Mhm.
download it, right? Because from my
Okay.
company, I have access to that. So what I
Okay.
can do is I can take you through all the topics which related to certifications, and I am certified
Mhm.
myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think I have few dumps as well for. So I
Okay.
can
That's
also give you the
perfect.
questions. But yeah, I mean, if you want to proceed in that way, we can also do that. We can follow the certification path. But again,
Yeah.
see, certification is mainly theoretical.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important. I mean, if you just want to get certified, we can also see that. I mean, we can
No,
take.
no,
I can take you
I
through.
know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
yeah.
So what I would think is like, let's go through all
Mm,
this, and whatever is
okay.
remaining, we can at the end of like I'm
Yeah,
just looking at this right now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
at
Hardik.
the end, we can, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever we learn, right? It is covering more than what is required for certification. So you need not
Okay.
worry if this will actually cover your certification, because you would already know more than what is required for certification. But for
Okay.
certification itself, it's a different game, right? You
Yes.
need to adopt a different strategy. It's more of
Yes.
theoretical I mean, if you just want to clear certification, I can right away give you the questions for that. It's not an
Yeah. No.
issue.
No. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No.
yeah,
Yeah. It won't be useful. I don't wanna do that. So you know what?
yeah.
Let's do this, and at
Okay,
the end, maybe you can once we're done with this particular framework, maybe at the end
okay.
you can just guide me what else I need to prepare, like how I need to prepare, and that would be fine.
Yeah, sure, Hardik. I mean, it's pretty easy. Hardik, I mean, when you right now in current times, right, certification is quite easy because you need to take it online. You will have 6 attempts to clear the
Mhm.
certifications. So
Okay.
when you give one attempt, I mean, usually it will not take more than 2 attempts to clear the certifications. So
Mhm.
I mean, first attempt itself, you can clear. I mean, I think 70 or 80% is the passing marks, and you can clear it based
Mhm.
on what you know. You can actually clear it. In case you fail in the
Yeah.
first attempt, you will still remember
Mhm.
what are the questions or the topics which you were asked in the first attempt, right?
Mhm.
You just need to
Yeah.
refresh those topics going back, and if you come back and give the second attempt, you can clear it. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Sandesh.
No problem, Hardik. So I think Sai will coordinate you on further steps, right?
Yeah.
So he will.
Yep.
You can just check with him. Yeah. Then
Mhm.
we'll because first thing is I need to have, even I don't have system access because I was just informed by Sai yesterday. So I need to get system access for training. Then
Mhm.
that is the first thing we need to have, because I don't want to spend time in teaching you something which you already know. Let's start with the
Yep.
system directly, and yeah, once we have system access, we can start with the courses.
Yeah,
Yep.
like
Sounds
system
good.
access, I can give it immediately. Like as soon as now Hardik would like to start, accordingly we can have a schedule.
Yeah, we can discuss it over right over here. I don't. Let's start. Sai, I am already